All right, and we should be live right about now. So welcome back to the weekly study GRC study hall here. So this would be week 19 now of 2024. How's everybody doing?
Pretty good, not too bad.
Yeah, pretty good. Can't complain.
Pretty smooth
Tired,
week.
man. Tired.
Tired. Working on that course, huh?
Now I'm trying to walk in my old age and it ain't going well, man. I walked 3 miles before this, man. I might have to doze off in the middle.
They got devices for that to assist. Ah, Caesar's not in here yet. Caesar, I know, had a bunch of stuff to share. Are you streaming tonight, PBO?
I am not. I am behind. I gotta get some energy. I am not.
All right. Let's see. Did anybody have any particular topics for this week or anything you guys are working on?
I don't have anything in particular, but I just had a recruiter reach out to me about a compliance program manager position. So I'm like,
Compliance
see if I can get more information.
management?
Yeah.
What information do you, information on a particular job post or information on what a manager does?
On what that role would entail.
Said compliance manager?
Yeah.
Uh, when I worked at Door, I reported to the compliance manager. She handled all the paperwork for our internal and external audits. Once again, we had IRS Club 1075, so they have their own kind of security policy procedures. And since it was a state, I know that other young lady works for a state. The SBOA, State Board of Accounts, had their internal audits. If it's a private company or a state agency.
This one states that it's for a company called NetApp.
Okay, yeah, that's a private company. So I would think audits, I would look up their company and see kind of what audits they had. I'm sure they probably got some FedRAMP because I think NetApp goes after federal contracts, probably state ramp. Shout out to Chris, we looked at that. Depending on the state, I'm sure they have some state privacy. So managing people, getting those reports, getting those turned in, keeping track of it. For us, it was just a ton of paperwork. Because any findings, poems, risk assessments, she handled all that. So that was kind of her, that in a nutshell for that compliance manager. Once again, worked for the state of Indiana. That's what she did.
Good evening.
Yeah, I just pulled this up too. So I found a couple pages here that I
Okay.
think would be useful.
Yeah, there you go. Program.
Let's see.
Applicable laws, right? Safeguard.
I'm still getting modded in the Simply Cyber Discord. It won't let me post the links. That's all right. We'll get that figured out.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean that's perfect. Yeah, I mean we could look more at this part here. So compliance manager, so maintain and execute the compliance programs of the company as compliance project manager. So project management.
So look at their website. They probably show you what they're compliant to, probably FedRAMP, state ramp. So if you look at their website, that'll show you what compliances they're trying to adhere to. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I think one of the main things with the compliance manager part is the fact that you're not only the compliance programs, but then also regulations. So monitoring that applicable laws and regulations that coincide with the business too. I think is one of the main components that, beyond just the programs. So.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah, and I mean, that's why I'm going after the CIPP right now is, that's perfect for the data privacy laws and regulations. Yeah, but I can go ahead and drop this in here because this is a pretty in-depth article. But yeah, on their actual website, they should have something more about it.
Yeah,
that's pretty neat though.
Yeah, I think I hit on all of those, but like you said, it's much better. But yeah,
this one actually dropped it down.
Yeah, that's perfect. State private, and then, like you said, the big deal is you usually reporting to the CISO or the CIO, so you're actually in a management suite. You're in those big meetings because a a lot of times if you're trying to get Fed rent or state rent, you got to get that so the company can make money. So the C-suites really want the status of your progress getting those compliances.
Sounds
Yeah,
reasonable.
ensuring complies with legal and regulatory laws and
Facts. We can
learn,
bust out the
unlearn, and
Trello board
relearn
to
the
help 'em.
dynamic change.
Oh, that's some fluff. Yeah, but no, I take
Yeah,
that
I was gonna
back.
say, please explain that to me.
Well, no,
Like,
because the good that you do it, but a lot of times our legal staff was helping us with that. So state laws change, you get executive orders coming down. Like President Biden was talking about zero trust all of a sudden, so everybody jumped on that bandwagon. Like, so, but yeah, usually you get help. Our legal staff always helped us with those changing regulations. So
yeah, I mean, that's perfect. Yeah, I mean, I think this would be a pretty, I mean, not bad at all. Especially, I think you had mentioned before that you have the PCI
Yeah,
background as well, I believe. Yeah,
Mhm.
so finance.
right.
I don't know why I never put PCI with finance. I don't know why.
I
I
mean,
mean,
it's
I have
only made
stocks
in
as a
for them.
background, but I know that mostly PCI is more about the credit card transactions and protecting cardholder data.
Yeah. For some reason I don't put that in finance, even though I think Chris is right. For some reason I never link those two.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the way that I kind of learned, like categorizing the different frameworks. But
It's not bad. That's not
I
bad.
mean,
I
there's
usually
other
put
ones out there too, like
GLBA.
Sarbanes-Oxley,
Yeah, we do
GBO.
GLBA,
Yeah.
Graham Leach Bliley Act. That's the one we look at.
Yeah.
And FinRec, because credit cards, you got to worry about the
FedRec.
credit reporting part of that.
Which one?
FinRec, I'll look it up and put it in the chat.
Yeah, I don't think I've actually even come across that
Google
at
it.
all.
It's federal credit reporting. People call it FinRec. I think it's federal credit reporting because that's real
Let's
heavy
see.
now.
FedRec. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll wait for your link because I have no idea. I'm lost on that one. This is another good one here too that also talks about some training that would be beneficial for compliance managers. Did Caesar make? Oh yeah, Caesar made it in here. There you
What's
are.
up, guys? How you guys doing? I thought
Welcome
you
to the
guys heard
party.
me. Yes, sir. Good evening, fellas.
Good evening.
Caesar has sent me so much different information over the last week. He has definitely come across quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
And then also like this does reference the CGIT and the C risk from ISACA that would correspond with that as well. So like I was looking at the CGIT a little bit. So GRC Academy, he on some of his podcasts, he's gone through talking about the CGIT. I think he has a couple YouTube videos talking about how like that's a really good thing to go for, especially right off the bat. So governance, enterprise, information technology, I believe, if I remember offhand, is what that even stands for.
Yeah, I see that on Indeed a little bit too. I see a lot of that
Yeah,
asking for.
certified in governance and enterprise IT. And I mean, that one is actually pretty appealing, to be honest. Let me double check the experience requirements because I don't think it required too much there. Oh, so it does still have their standard 5-year actually of total combined experience, but not bad at all. Did you want to share a couple of those different items, Caesar?
The links, yeah. Hold on. I have a lot.
Yeah, go ahead and pick a couple of them out. I mean, you came across quite a few of them there, to be honest.
Let's see. I'm gonna send you
I've
this
really been,
one.
yeah. So if you want to drop it, then I'll go ahead and pull it up here.
This one actually talks about the actual implementation for the 2.0 assessment. So it tells you like a checklist and stuff like that. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think this is one of the ones that I skimmed through.
Yeah, maybe because I
Yeah,
did
because
send it to
this,
you.
yeah, because this is a really nice, quick, how to just get ready for it. That's actually a really quick one. I gotta drop these in YouTube too. That would be useful. Have you looked at CMMC yet, PBO? I know you got a lot of other things going on though.
Yeah, I got a CMC video out there. I was looking into it because I got that. I think we talked about it. They had a couple certifications that was pretty nice. I thought for CMC.
Yeah, I think we've talked about it a couple times, but I'll go through that real quick again. So through cyberab.org is where the ecosystem is for it. Now you are not required to be, certified through them or accredited as they call it, through CyberAB, which is the only accredited agency for CMMC. However, if you are going to be submitting the paperwork and doing official assessments for CMMC, you are required to. So, and they have multiple different ones. So primarily the company is going to have the C3PAO, and then you're going to have at least one of the CCAs, if not CCPs or both. And then you're looking at like the RP or RPA typically. So you'll typically start at RP or RPA, so just a registered practitioner. Or if you're already
An
working for
assessor.
a company, you'll probably go straight for the CCP if you're already working for somebody.
Yeah, whoever's talking is asking if we can hear you. Yes.
I cannot hear them.
The one that I'm so sorry. Go right ahead. No, we can definitely hear you. Welcome. One of the
Who is it talk? Who is it?
I only
Okay.
hear Chris and somebody else.
That's good. I can only hear. I can't hear him either.
Mm-mm.
Huh, that's
Caesar's the only
weird.
one can hear him.
It's weird because there's a
I'll
couple
see.
people here. It's definitely not me here. You got Chris, you got PVO, you got a whole bunch of people here other than myself.
I
Can you hear
hear
them talk?
no.
No,
Chris, can
there's
no?
nobody else.
See if
No.
you see if you hit the in the bottom left, you should have a button that says mute. Just double click that. Or if not, leave and come back and see because I guess they can't hear you either.
What's their name, Caesar?
Oh, who's talking? Nig? Nig is the one who's talking right now.
I cannot hear him, and I don't see him in the.
I don't see him either.
I see 6 people, but I only see 4 in there.
Yeah, that's actually kind of odd.
That's crazy.
Here, I would recommend for them to leave and then come back in.
Yeah, he left and he's gonna
I
come
just,
back.
yeah, because I just went ahead and turned the meeting, the waiting room back on, so that way I could pull them straight in. Well, that's
Like the
never happened before, but
no.
technology.
The one that I'm really interested in here is gonna be the C3PO. That's literally the third party.
Yep.
I don't know, man. I'm super interested in just the third party
Those.
realm.
I work for a company that gave the information to the third party, but yeah, that's
Yeah, I want to work for a company. Like I was actually thinking, I sat down and companies that I think I want to work for is like Kirkland, that's Costco, Walmart, basically. But if you think about it, all those companies they do third party, or I assume they had to do third party.
third parties usually for federal work. I mean, those are private companies.
Yeah.
Private
And
companies usually gonna be consultant companies trying to, get that Fed money. I don't think that's gonna be Walmart.
yeah.
Well,
And
exactly, yeah.
and again, the information that I'm putting out there is information that I guess I'm interested in, and it's information that I think is going to be good within the GRC field. Like there's one here, it's called Microsoft Excel. Basically, it tells you what to do written mode, like from A to Z, how to handle and create Excels like for everything. I think obviously GRC, you need you need to learn how to do that. There's actually writing successful. Basically, it teaches you how to write down a whole entire everything that you need to do for GRC. And the last one is negotiating, because obviously we probably won't do it. But I know if anybody here wants to be doing CISO work, or even you never know if you get the opportunity, it'll teach you how to negotiate strategies, and you can do that for day to day. Because either way, that one, yeah, you need to sell yourself to get up there or whatever you want to do in life. So
And so these slides here,
I
is
got them
this part of an
through
actual?
I got them through
Mhm.
LinkedIn, the majority, and some in Facebook. Because I'm enrolled
Oh,
on a whole
okay.
bunch of places. I get their newsletters, so they send us
I
that.
see. Yeah, yeah, because I mean, this does have some good information in here. So this is just negotiation strategies, is this slide that he shared. Pros. So Never Split the Difference is one of the books that I've read before. I don't remember who actually wrote it offhand. Chris Voss, I think is his name.
Yeah, I
So
just
Never
started
Split the
listening
Difference.
to that. Yeah, Chris Voss.
Oh yeah, that's one of my favorite books actually.
Yeah, I'm only on chapter 2. I
And
just started it this weekend.
yeah, I've actually read it a couple times, and yeah,
N-
it's a great book,
Never split the
especially
difference.
around negotiation. Yeah, Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss.
Okay, I'm
So
actually
I've
gonna
read
write
that
it
one, and
down.
then there was another one that I read that was around negotiations. But I mean, that one's like my favorite. That's actually probably in the top five of my favorite books.
Okay.
So the interesting thing with Chris Voss is, so he's one of the guys who ended up helping develop the negotiation tactics for the FBI's hostage
Yeah,
units.
hostage unit.
So yeah, I forget what it's called, but so they're hostage negotiation units. He helped develop that system. So worked for the FBI back in the day before they started considering the psychological factors of it and taking that into account with hostage situations or like people being barricaded in their homes and stuff like that. So he provides a lot of different insights and several like real world examples in that book. So
Okay.
it's definitely one of the ones I would recommend. Yeah, let me know what you think about that, Robert, because I mean that's a really good one.
Yeah, for sure. I'm actually listening to the audiobook on Spotify, so makes it easier when you're driving and stuff. But so
Yeah,
far
let
it's
me actually yeah, there's yeah, it does make it a lot easier. The one I'm listening to is Why Privacy Matters. I'm maybe a quarter of the way through it right now. So that one's pretty interesting though too.
Chris,
But that's also on the data privacy.
I put
Do
that
what?
Fair Credit Reporting Act in there. That's that FINREC we were calling. So we look at that as part of Graham Lease Bliley, then the credit part of that.
yeah, it's a lot of banking things. Like everybody has to go through that training.
Yeah,
True,
Fair
true.
Credit Reporting Act.
Mhm. Fair
Do you have a
credit,
video on
family
this,
filing,
PBO?
HBA.
I do not, man. I got enough videos, man. I got like 60 hours of compliance, man.
Hey, now you got one for ITAR. Did you see the clip that I ended up making in regards to that? So a gentleman with Black Hills or with Anti-Siphon, about a year ago, he had published a video on like during one of their like hour-long streams about space systems,
Yeah, that's
cybersecurity in space.
yeah,
Yeah, and there's like a 10-second clip that I took out of it on YouTube because he talks about how ITAR you have to be compliant with ITAR in order to like send satellites to space because they are
yeah.
considered weapons.
They're weapons. Yeah, they're
Yeah, I would have
bombs.
never thought about that. But
Yeah,
once you said it, it
Neither
makes sense.
neither did I.
satellites are considered bombs, basically. That's what he said.
Wow.
Yeah, equivalent. Yeah, let me actually pull that up here real quick because that's actually pretty neat. And then so the Fair Credit Reporting Act, so FCRA, is that
Hey, how you doing?
the
Hey,
FedRAC that you were talking about?
hey,
Yeah.
I can hear you,
Oh,
but I
okay.
still don't see you. For some reason, it says we only have six. but I can hear you, but I don't see you.
And nobody else can hear me either.
Yeah, and nobody, and no, I guess, yeah, I guess you're a ghost because nobody else can see you or hear you.
So
That is weird.
yeah, I've never heard of that ever before.
Can you write anything in chat to see if Chris can actually they're basically everybody here in the meeting is I guess professionals of anything in the industry. In the chat, you don't see nobody in the chat either?
Are
Hey,
you in a second room on another device or something, or are they in Discord?
are you in Discord? Uh, do you have the Discord for Study GRC? Are you in that Discord?
Or the Simply Cyber one, or
Or the
any of them really?
or the Simplify Cyber?
That's
No?
probably what it is because I joined that one first before coming to this one.
Okay. Go to Discord and see if you can search for, because I mean I can't even send you that because I don't even see you here. Go to simplycyber.io. Go to the
So
website simplycyber.io and then look for the Discord. And then I guess go all the way to the bottom. It should say study, what it
that's
says, study GRC. That's what it says. What's the channel's
yeah.
name?
So I believe the Simply Cyber thing is that link right there. You can also send them a direct link to this video, to this meeting again. Where did they find it? Maybe it's
What
through LinkedIn or something. I don't know. That's
I
weird.
I got a quick question. How did you find us? Where? Let me see.
I've never heard of this occurring ever. All right. Well,
Yeah. I guess he left.
it sounds like a man in the middle,
Yeah, definitely.
not showing up anywhere on Discord or anything else. And yeah, because there's nothing on my end at all. Yeah, it doesn't even show that anybody else joined at all. I even locked the room. So that's
That's that's kind of
did they say where they found us?
no at all whatsoever.
Alrighty
Uh,
then.
I mean, he left,
Um, yeah, I probably would have too.
but yeah, let's continue. That was kind of weird.
So yeah, I'll just go ahead and drop this as well. But so I had took this little bit of a clip here. I don't think I have the audio turned on, but it was during this intro to cybersecurity in space by Tim Fowler with Black Hills Information Security. So he did about an hour-long video 6 months ago. And so about a little ways in, he went through and had mentioned ITAR, and PBO just went through that a couple weeks ago. And Caesar had brought that up to my attention and everybody else's too, which is why PBO did that. So I found that pretty interesting because I had never heard of it prior to Caesar mentioning it, and then PBO, and then right there.
Yeah, we did a little bit of that when I was at DOD. That's the reason I heard of it.
So the Fair Credit Reporting Act, all right, 117 pages.
Yeah. A lot of times when
Hey,
we do Graham
that's
Leach
about right.
Bliley, we
Mhm.
followed up with that. We kind of pair those together with banking.
And so this would be an actual regulation though, right? Because it's an act.
Yeah, like you just looked at the
Yeah, so
compliance manager. Those are those dynamic regulations right there.
yeah. Yeah, and so this is like one of the things that you would have to make sure that you're in compliance with and so forth on top of whatever framework you're using,
Yeah,
like for the
because
cybersecurity part.
a lot of times when you do banking, you're gonna post it to their credit report. So since you're doing stuff that affects people's credit report, being debt collection, credit cards or whatever, you can affect credit scoring or credit reporting, so you want to make sure you're following those
Or if
regulations.
you disclose to the FBI for counterintelligence purposes.
They can always bring a warrant, man. That's what we always say, that they got to bring a warrant. They got to bring a warrant. That's all.
I mean, this doesn't actually say anything about a warrant. Not that I see. But,
It doesn't,
I'm sure
but
we'll dig it.
it
But
doesn't. But
yeah,
most,
still.
yeah, most companies now they can request it, but if you, and you don't have to give it. But if they want to get it, they're gonna have a warrant.
So is this something where you would go through and you would also have a compliance sheet for it, to make sure that you're in compliance with it? Like you would still have to go through and assess that you're in compliance with it. And
Yeah.
therefore you would have to like put it into a spreadsheet or otherwise or a system to make sure that you're in compliance with the actual requirements. Because there's a lot in here.
It is. When we did it, each department, legal and compliance went together, and then they kind of broke it down for what each department needs to do to be compliant with it. So, but yeah. But usually if you Google it out there, a lot of times they usually have those broken down for what you need to do. A lot of times AWS, I don't know about this, but AWS had the ITAR regulations, what you need to do to be compliant with it. So a lot of times different technologies, different organization compliance, you have those broken down to what you need to do to be compliant.
So especially the more that I dig into like the different regulations and acts and everything else that's involved with it, is it really like, I guess that's where you get like entire legal teams involved into the company itself to reduce the material impact or reduce the risk involved, because like, especially with how much that there's out there that you have to be in regulation with, it just doesn't really seem actually feasible. Like,
Usually
it's a lot of stuff.
Usually what the company I did, and I ain't gonna name it, is we had a lawyer that specialized in FINREC. We had a lawyer that specialized in CCPA. We had a lawyer specializing in kind of the big categories, and they would make sure we were compliant.
Whereas so that's where you get the people who are like just for privacy or just for policy or just for this or just for that.
Yeah, because usually people doing FINREC, probably big banks. Like I said, I work for a big collection agency. So, I mean, that's what they did. So they had their legal staff that was, excellent in those areas and people that done that forever. Like I did IRS work, so I know that kind of inside now. So a lot of times when I used to work with people, I was doing IRS work, right? So no, we
Hey
had
there,
lawyers
Min
that
and
specialize.
Zuyuki.
What's up, man?
Oh, I thought I'll come early today.
You late, homie?
Sorry, PBO.
36 minutes.
You out? You good? You good?
He's a teacher.
So
Nah, this is Chris show, man. I'm backing up Chris.
yeah. See, we should do reverse roles because like on when you do your stream, then you're looking up the information and vice versa. Okay, so what I'm kind of curious about, so Fair Credit Reporting Act. And so is this all automated like inside of Archer? Is there something that like is already accounted for if you go with like the automated software? And yeah, so I see information here regarding it. So there is like assessment sheets for the Fair Credit Reporting Act as well.
I'm sure they're out there. It's too big to try to distill yourself. It's kind of like IRS Pub 1070. I mean, 853. Right, because you got the STIGs and the CIF stuff. So I'm sure it's distilled out there somewhere.
Yeah, I find that kind of interesting. Yeah, I mean that's like what I'm struggling with is just the fact that there's so much out there. So like for the CIPP, you have to basically memorize the details regarding some of it, like different fine amounts or when it was enacted and things like that.
But it's too big.
I
You
mean,
got to kind of pick what
yeah,
you want to do.
yeah,
GDPR,
that's what I'm.
CCPA, New York, I think New York DFR for financial. So it's like 4 or 5 big ones, but you got to kind of pick one and go with it.
And that's what I'm kind of realizing is that, I mean, that's where, it's just like with InfoSec and the same thing with GRC is where it's so broad that you can really only specialize in one really good domain there.
Yeah.
Would you say yours is 853th then PBO?
Yes. Then the IRS sits on top of that, so I kind of put those two together. But yes, 853 is my SME-ness, my subject matter expertness. So.
Yeah, I find that kind of interesting. So then like for financial banks, wouldn't they would they in practice go through and make their own framework then by taking like the FedRAMP and adding in the requirements like from the Reporting Act or Credit Report Act here, and then just make their own framework basically at that point to
No, they should, but no, they
no?
usually do Graham-Leach Bliley, FinRec. I've never seen a bank like do NIST or something. They usually do Graham-Leach Bliley, like I said, FinRec. But I work with bank. I ain't never worked for banks. But when I look out there and I look at banks, I've just never seen them say we're NIST or we're NIST CSF or we ISO. I've just never seen that.
Yeah, they definitely don't use NIST, ISO, or anything. It is always
Yeah.
GLBA and a lot of Fair Credit, Patriot Act, and all these things.
Yeah, which I think is weird. But yeah, like I said, when I deal with banks or look up with banks, or a lot of people work for banks, call and ask me, I'm like, I'm a NIST guy. But once again, we dealt with banks. So we did Graham-Leach Bliley, and we did this to kind of marry those two together. So to me, I do NIST and I try to do CCPA for my privacy part and mail those two together. That's kind of what I kind of try to be a subject matter expert, that federal work. And once again, CCPA is super high for privacy. And if you can do CCPA, you can do GDPR. They're similar. Robert, why do you think banks don't fall in line with that? You got anything on that? Like I said, I've been in the game. I just never figured that out.
I would assume that it's because I feel like they're specifically created for banking, like GLBA and the Fair Credit Reporting Act.
Yeah.
Because they came as a result of banks doing things in the past, and so they had to create it to kind of put them in line.
Yeah,
So
but
even for the training, they discuss a lot of faults, like
Yeah.
Wells Fargo always comes up, over and over again.
Yeah, but I guess when I look and I need to dig more into GLBA, I just look at it at a high level when the job I used to have, we did GLBA. I never see hardening or anything. I never really see security films. GLB, I haven't done it. It seemed to talk at a super high level, but like I said, I need to dig into it more.
Yeah, I've never gone in depth. Their training is very high level. They explain redlining and all these things, but I've never seen like somebody actually doing an audit for it.
Maybe I need to do a GLBA video, man. So maybe I need to do
Come on, PBO.
I dig into it a little more.
We can go over that in 28 minutes, right on your channel.
Yeah, I've never, like I said, I've done small things with GLBA because, like I said, we used to collect debts and PCI, and we were dealing with banks, so we had to be familiar with GLBA. But I've never like really rolled my sleeves up and dug into it like I did with 853, and like we talked about STIGs and hardening and exception reports and incident response and DR. I don't know where that fits in with GLBA.
Yeah, a lot of AML too, anti-money laundering, and a lot of Regulation F is what they teach them.
Yeah, I was thinking about some guy reached out to me on Upworks and was talking about AML, money laundering. I'm like, I need to dig into that. I know a lady used to do that for a big company, but I've never done anti-money laundering.
I just looked up Navy Federal and it says it's not publicly disclosed.
What part of what
Uh,
their compliance is?
Yeah, it says NIST, could be NIST, ISO 27001, PCI DSS, GLBA, and
Well,
FFI.
They named everything.
I mean,
Mhm.
yeah, I can't knock them for that. I mean, to be honest, but
man, you can. They should name them. If the federal government, if DOD's naming it, they can name it. Come on. If DOD's naming
yeah, but
CMMC, they can name it.
yeah, but that doesn't mean the DoD is actually being honest about it. You see,
Oh, they're honest.
I
They
mean,
spent $1 gazillion on it.
yeah, exactly. They're way surpassed the 53 in some ways, just not in most.
That is incorrect, sir. You need to take that back. That is incorrect, sir.
Oh, come on,
Think about
PBO.
USDA.
That's gonna be my shirt, NIST for life. Man. That's what I'm gonna put like Tupac.
That's actually something that's actually a good mention there. So I had posted on LinkedIn. I'm pulling it up right now. But so CISA is doing another webinar on the 15th regarding the whole thing with China again. So they're doing like
I saw
another
that.
follow-up thing with it. Yeah, so I'll go ahead and drop that in chat here too.
Hell, we can't defend the
let-
United States, man. They talking about China, man. Come on.
I mean,
That's my
I
two
just don't
cents.
want people to get the wrong idea and think China's the only enemy out there.
That's
You know,
my
there's
thing,
plenty
man.
everywhere else.
We can't handle the United States problem, man. They talking about China.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and drop this this link here. So copy link. So May 15th at 11:30. Let's see. So People's Republic of China, cyber threats and what we can do about it. Live with CISA. And then on YouTube here, Dwight was asking what software is utilized in GRC.
Everything.
Yeah. Excel spreadsheets and preferably the metal clipboards.
Yeah, the thing is, and you're 100% right. The smaller companies, we be spreadsheeting it out. I work for a large state agency. They had Archer, which was like freaking $20 million or some crazy number. Web Pages is an IBM product. I use that. I've used probably 3 or 4.
Say about ServiceNow GRC.
Yeah, ServiceNow just trying to get a little money. But yeah, ServiceNow, I don't know anybody using it, but I did see their module. Everybody's got a GRC module now.
So I did have a couple ads there. So I'm dropping this these links real quick. So that's the link to CISA. And so the ones that I have heard of, I have a short list here, is just the Archer. There's one that's called Logic Manager as well, which I think is mostly common over in the UK. Then you do have the ServiceNow. There's also
Open Pages.
the vulnerability scanner Nexus. So what is that? Tenable Nexus for the vulnerability scanner?
Yeah, I wouldn't consider that GRC though, but maybe I'm wrong. That's a part of GRC, but
No,
Yeah,
Tenable
I
is
think
a
like along with the
vulnerability scanner.
compliance side.
you know,
No, it's a vulnerability scanner.
I was gonna say that unless it got a new module, man, I haven't seen it. Like you said, that's just part. GRC's got 400 modules for everything. Inventory, exception, because I did the policies, procedure, and exceptions for procedure and inventory when I worked for a large state besides Archer. So I know they had those particular GRC modules.
So what do you think about this one? So let me see. So like this is an article that I had. So audit board is on the list here. So I've heard about that on LinkedIn as well. People talking about audit board. I think it really depends on the company though. I mean, it depends what works for the company and you know what their maturity is, honestly.
True.
Because
Yeah,
I mean, a lot of the actual tools are just so expensive.
I used Hyperproof. It was a pain in the butt. But they had a lot of modules. So we were just getting using. We did audit board a proof of concept when I was at the state. We didn't pick it though. When I was doing 3PAO work a little bit, but they were using hyperproof. I mean, they
I
had all the
see.
findings, and we had to look at the artifacts and put them in hyperproof and see if they passed or not. And if they didn't, we would give them a finding and send it back to the development teams. Yeah, I looked at Workiva, but we didn't pick that either, but that seemed pretty good. All
Well,
those,
and I would see that it could be pretty common to swap around too. I mean, couldn't
Now,
you? I mean,
you-
I would imagine that a company could potentially be using multiple, like more than one of these tools as
no,
well.
no, that it should not be
no,
going.
no,
Go
No?
ahead,
no,
man.
no, because you basically um most of the time you use it for your risks, right? You don't want your risks in multiple softwares. It's really hard for auditing and compliance purposes.
Fives. And half of them, when we did a security review, they didn't pass.
Yeah,
So it's like, you're not using encryption in your database in this thing. That could be a problem. Since we about to
Now,
put all our findings in this thing.
yeah, and so Dwight also added on there that they were talking in particularly about tracking the GLBA, like assessments, I believe.
Yep.
So, I mean, you could really put that in any of these tools custom, right? Otherwise, you would just throw that into like an Excel sheet.
Yeah, but you gotta be careful because when you customize, and depending on how much customizing you do, you can't upgrade it. So you always gotta be careful with that. They're a lot better than they used to be, but if you over customize it, it's a pain.
I see.
So beautiful thing about Archer, but it costs so much money. Their customizations were kind of built in, so you can always upgrade. But we put stigs in there. We put it. It was nice. We hooked it up to the risk register. We hooked because we were getting SBOA, so we had business risk in there, tech risk. So
Yeah, but like especially if you're like with a smaller company, you're not really going to be using those tools. You're mostly going to be working off of like Excel spreadsheets, right?
yeah, all the small companies were doing. They have tools, but like they have like a SaaS for inventory. They had SaaS for pieces of it wasn't integrated. And like men said, now you got to be careful because you got stuff all over the place. So trying to bounce
So
that.
this is one of the I'm sorry.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, so this is one of the tools that they had on the list. So Sprinto, and this is their homepage here. Move fast without breaking things. That's quite a slogan there.
I don't even
Quite a
like their
tagline to
name.
say.
Keep going. I don't even like their name. And go.
Yeah, I just figured I'd pull up their website and check it out real quick. But let's see, 12 plus 12 different ones. So you got SOC, ISO, GDPR, PCI, HIPAA. They do say custom framework. ISO, CCPA, FedRAMP. I don't see the GLBA. I guess that would fall under custom then for this tool here.
Probably custom.
Yeah.
Because I think you got to
Well,
be in
and
the
I
banking industry or the finance industry to do that. And I think a lot of these companies are in mostly IT.
Yeah, and I've seen there's a lot of different like conventions around finance industry in particular.
Yeah,
And I would assume that there is specialized software just for those clients.
100%. 100%.
Yeah. But yeah, I figured I'd just pull one of these up here. Let's see.
There's a lot of companies out there. Like I said, we were doing a proof of concept at the state. And I think we looked at 7.
Now, is it really a necessity? I think the main benefit of going through and using the automated software is A, it saves time, but then also you do have that level of higher accuracy, I suppose, to prevent user error.
Well,
But like on a smaller, small to mid size, I mean, I guess it just depends, right?
Yeah, but we were the large state with 2,000 employees, and we were getting audits from everybody. And you would get a lot of state audits, SBOA, State Board of Accounts. They'd be auditing every agency pretty hard. So the cool thing a lot of times is when you work for a state, you get to share a GRC tool, and each agency, gets a splice of it. So that way you can get like Archer is expensive, but if you split it among all the state agencies, you can kind of afford it. So But yeah, all the smaller companies I worked for, they were straight spreadsheets. I'm trying to put some stuff like you did in Trello. I'm trying to start using O365 products and kind of bring it up a little higher than spreadsheets.
Yeah, I have all the custom spreadsheets for import on that. And then the Trello board should be able to be duplicated.
I want to do it in Planner because that's a native 365 tool, even though I think Trello is a lot better than Planner. I was gonna try to recreate
Go
what you
figure.
did. I was gonna try to recreate what you did and put it in Planner. Then link that to Power Automate, Power BI, then export it to some spreadsheets, Loop, and some other O365 tools.
No wonder you're so tired all the time.
I'm just old, man. I'll be 57 this year, man. Shout out to men. We'll be talking early in the morning.
Hey, that's his nights.
I know. He'd be telling me to go back to sleep. I'd be looking tired, man. He'd be hurting my little feelings, man.
Yeah, and then I just pulled this up here. So this is just it looks like a short overview of some of the different US banking regulations.
Chris, hold
So
tight. Chris, hold tight. Robert, I think you need to start your YouTube channel, man. We got some videos for you, Robert.
yes.
I'm
That's what
starting
you.
to think
Wait.
of potential there.
There you go, man. You could be the banking channel, man. You could be the compliance banking channel, man. We're gonna leave that to you, man. I might touch on the
Anti-money laundering.
GLBA. Yeah, I touch on one. You can roll with it, Robert. That's your new channel, man.
Yeah, I might have to go back and to study that, but yeah, there's definitely possibilities there to be able to discuss all this.
Because if you do GLBA is hot in the finance industry. I've just never really dug into it.
KYC is too. Know your customer. I see roles just for that.
Which is weird to me. You would think that would be just part of being a business, but like you said, they made it its own thing. But I guess too, as a bank, you got money laundering, you got the mafia, you got the crypto guys trying to, illegally move money around. So I guess from that perspective, it is a little different. So, good point on that. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, see, I didn't even notice this before. Oh, you're fine. So I just clicked on one of the first ones here. So the Bank Secrecy Act. And literally the first section right here, financial institutions must file a currency transaction report for each transaction involving more than 10,000 in currency, cash, or certain
man.
monetary.
All the drug dealers know that, Chris.
Yeah.
Man, come on, man.
Yeah, I know. But I never knew what act or what it was in, like where that was located. So that's actually kind of interesting. So that's in the
weird thing is, Robert know this, is you can try to be cute. If you move 8, 9, 8, and 8, you still gonna end up a report. If you try to move 8,000, that's to know your customer. So
yeah, yep.
you look a little
that's
suspicious.
another issue.
Yeah. You
and
try
if
to
you
do
do
a
it
little
from
too
different locations too, like if you do 8K over here, 8K over there, it'll still trigger under the same account. But if you do 9,999 in one day, you're fine.
Yeah, but now tech's so good, they got the artificial intelligence. But if your brother and you got the same last name, it's probably linking them up, man. Now,
yeah, and then here's the KYC that I think you mentioned KYC, know your customer, similar to CIP. Requirements mandate that financial institutions have procedures in place to understand the nature of their customers' business, the source of their funds, and the expected transactions.
Yeah, so like if you're a small business owner and you make deposits, let's say you have a small dealership and you make deposits every week or daily even of like 10, 15K, then they know that's your typical transaction. So they're not really going to question it. But if or let's say like that's just part of the business, the way you move, you gamble a lot and you make a lot of money, you make deposits, then they know. But if it's something out of the blue, then yeah, that's when it'll trigger some alarms.
There's a lot of different requirements here too. Like that's just a couple of them just from this one.
Right. Yeah, Robert, I like this. When I first made my first big money, I got paid once a month and we worked overtime. My check was $16,000. Back then, it took them 3 weeks to cash it because Robert said it was out of the ordinary. It took them 3 months to cash my check. I thought I was gonna have to borrow money from the guy that was paying me so I could live. But nah, but like you said, if you start doing anything out of the ordinary, so
Yeah, I just never knew what acts that they were a part of. And so those are just inside of the Bank Secrecy Act. But I mean, that's just the tip of the iceberg, apparently. So then you also have the anti-money laundering and suspicious activity reporting
AML is
requirements.
big in Indeed. If you put AML and Indeed, there's a ton of jobs out there for that. I think there's
Yeah, and see, like
Robert, ain't there a
that's crazy.
certification for AML? I thought I saw a certification for AML.
Yeah, it says right here, certificate
Okay.
in BSA and AML compliance.
Yeah,
Oh, that's a thing that these people are selling, but
oh, they try. You're here.
yeah,
Just go get a course while you're here. But nah,
yeah, exactly.
yeah, I see that a lot on
PBO,
Indeed.
come on, Robert. There you go. They're
Right.
charging 1,500 for their course here for AML, or $1,600.
I don't know.
That's wild.
Hey Chris, you might like the last link that I posted.
No.
Do what?
You might like the last link that I posted. It's talking about privacy data.
Yeah.
So what's hot in the US market at the moment? Is it like ISO, NIST? What's the
CMMC,
compliance
I
part?
think CMMC, I think is the hottest.
Okay.
Everybody's trying to get that DoD money to open up.
But it's not as
Yeah.
different from NIST, right?
I mean, they use 171. That's what they use.
Yeah, it's similar.
171.
Yeah, with a few about 10 extra things. I did a video on it. It's
Yeah.
not much different, but yeah, most people don't know this 853. So
Yeah.
this,
You know that
Well,
Yeah.
they did the
your
revision
video's out of
3.
date, PBO.
which one? All of them?
Your CMMC is like significantly out of date now.
When did I do it? 2 years ago?
Yes, and they put out
Oh
major
man.
updates back in December. So back in
Yeah,
December, it's no longer 5 levels, it's only 3.
it's only 3.
And
Yeah, I know.
they refined a lot of the details now.
And
Yeah,
if I'm
I
not
did.
mistaken, I think like in a month, 171 revision 3, but they're still right
Yep.
now because that's one of the biggest things right now that everybody was worried about. The government and basically CMMC, everybody was worried what was going to happen with revision 3, but they're basically deciding to leave everybody in revision 2, but revision 3 is coming out as well. So
They always do that.
everybody was nervous about having a job with
I don't
that
know
stuff.
everybody, because usually, yeah, because when they do 3, most companies aren't ready, so they usually give you like 2 years to get to like 3 or revision 5. They gave everybody 2 years to get to R5, and this 853.
Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they're giving what, 7 years, right? A reroll, 7 years for everybody to catch up.
So that's what they were already saying for CMMC in particular. So just for CMMC, it's not that they're giving everyone 7 years, they're doing a 7-year rollout for CMMC.
There we go.
And
Rollout.
so yeah, and that's just for CMMC. So
That's
if you
the
have to
stupid
be
stuff
compliant
I
with
know.
CMMC, they're gonna slowly start adding it onto the contract, starting with the big guys
Okay, yeah,
and
yeah.
working their way down. And that's what got some people, kind of irritated, to be honest, because they were like, oh, up to 600,000 people, businesses are going to have to become compliant overnight. But that's just not the case.
It never is.
That
It
would put
never
too
is.
much, yeah, that would put too much strain on the economy. And then because like they're talking like it's going to cost the economy like an average of like $100 million additional after
Wow.
everyone gets certified.
Yeah, because they only let
So
3PALs do it. Them dudes charge $400 an hour, so of course it's gonna cost that.
hey, they're hiring Booz Allen to go to do it for what is that CAICO, I think is what it's called, the government entity for it, who does the level 3s. um but yeah, so I mean, you have a good point though. I mean, that is one of the things that I've heard a lot in the CMMC space, is the fact that like CyberAB is the only accredited agency
Yeah,
to
that's the big boy. Is the only person that recognizes you as a professional within the CMC.
Same thing with CISSP. That's just one board that gives that out, so I don't think that's.
Yeah, but the difference is that the CyberAB is the only one that's allowed to actually accredit you to be able to submit the reports to SARS.
Yeah.
So there's nobody else you can go through to actually be able to put your name on an official CMMC assessment.
They're recognized what by the government, right?
Yep.
Correct. They're
Yeah.
accredited by the DoD to
Yeah.
accredit it, to make people accredited in CMMC,
They're not
which is
going
what a lot of
nowhere.
people disagree with, is the fact that it's a monopoly is what it is.
They want more people to be able to do it. I mean, what's their complaints? I guess.
Yeah, but wouldn't
yeah,
that-
I mean,
excuse me, but wouldn't that try not to cuss on this, but wouldn't that mess over a lot of like the small business GSAs that mess with, that are gonna be required for?
No, if they're already in there, they just gotta pay the money like everybody else.
I know that a few around here locally, a company I used to work for, they don't have that kind of money.
yeah. Yeah, because I think it's about $6,000 to $10,000 just to get started with the C3PAO.
It is. It's expensive.
And then you have to actually, yeah, well, and then on top of that, then you have additional stuff too, like getting your actual people accredited too.
Chris,
Because in the assessment,
real quick, we looked at it. It was only like 42 companies that was 3PLs, right? It wasn't like it was a ton. Was it 42, 45?
yeah, it was. I think it was about 50 or so. I can pull
Yeah.
it back up,
It's not
but
like
it wasn't that many.
Yeah, so yeah, it's the same game they've been playing, I guess. So I don't.
Well, and so that's kind of one of the issues is the fact that like that's what I've heard a lot of people's complaint is that it would be more effective to go through and allow other companies to apply to be able to do the training. But even the training providers, like the weird thing is that so CyberAB is this accreditor for it, but then they have training providers underneath them.
Yeah.
So
Certified training provider, basically.
yeah, because here it is. It's like LP or LLP. Yeah, so certified CMMC instructor,
Instructors,
CCI.
and then you have LTP and then LTPP, basically the partners. It's like,
Yeah, it's a racket, man.
LPP. Yeah, licensed publishing
It's a
partner there.
racket. It's a racket, man. I guess I'm used to working, seeing those big companies just eat all the money up. So, but go ahead, Chris.
Well, you want to know the best part? Let me see if I could find it again. But so they're actually a nonprofit out of
Maryland?
where Maryland, yeah. So they're
MD.
actually a nonprofit. Yeah, so CyberAB is a Maryland nonprofit corporation.
Oh, facts.
Nonprofit.
Yeah.
Nonprofit where?
Yeah, but you know what? They're not profit, right? They're gonna get all that federal grant money that's coming out before
Exactly.
companies get there. Then I'm sure they got a profit version, so they probably got two companies, and they got the profit company doing all the damn assessments.
That's the federal church, right?
I mean, if they didn't
That's
have
exactly
all
what it
their
is.
Facts, man.
yeah, if they didn't have all their expenses every year, they might actually turn a profit one year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Facts, man.
That's the federal church for me. That's how I look at it.
Hey man, I'm trying to get in the game, man, and pay my tithes so I can get in it. My mother was alive, she would tell me stop playing with God like that. So I'm leaving it alone. But yeah, man. So I try to pay my tithes so I can get in the game. Rhonda seems upset, man. She's upset with the people taking all the monies.
Well, and that's one of the biggest complaints that I've heard, especially in the QE Discord regarding CMMC, is that
They're
a
super
lot of the
active over
smaller, yeah, the smaller consulting firms that have been doing this stuff for decades, they can't really afford to put that kind of money out, and even if they do, they might not it might not be worth it enough to them, if they only. Because also you're getting that in hopes that you get those contracts anyway, so obviously it wouldn't really make good business sense to spend that money
At least
unless
not
you had
now.
a good idea you're gonna
They got a
make
partner,
more than
man.
enough back.
I would
Mhm.
partner with somebody, but yeah, I hear what you're saying. Like I said, it's a risk, and like
I
we
would just
talked
outsource
about
it to PBO.
shit. I ain't qualified. I don't have any certificate. I'm trying to get with Booz or the big boys, man, so I can retire in a couple years, man. Get that $300,000 manager compliance director, like my man's going.
Yeah, like
like
I
Robert
don't
is.
know. I mean, you could just, retire making, GRC, assessment courses and programming.
Yes, I do. I love programming. I miss programming, man. That's my thing. I want to get back to programming. That's a whole nother story.
I have a question off topic.
Uh-oh. Yeah, go ahead.
Go for it.
Go for it.
So I'm creating a policy campaign because we revamped some of the policies. Does NIST have like some sort of template? I'm trying to figure out a good way to do it without inundating the people where they start to ignore it. So do they have some kind of structure in this that I'm missing?
We usually are you? We talked about this. If you're doing this, there's 20 families. I usually just have Chat GPT generate the policies at a high level. Then I kind of customize it for the company and the department I'm working for. Then too, you can do it in bullet points. You can actually do more summarization. You can actually say do it for a certain type of company, especially with the paid version. So I need to charge you for that, man. I'm giving you secrets now. I'm just playing. So yeah, when I do small companies, I just let ChatGPT do it for a company, and I just specialize for that company, because then I kind of do it in template form. Then that's my template. Then I can say, okay, what's special about your company? What region? Are you global? Or are you national? Or are you just in Indiana? So that's how I just take the ChatGPT policy, then do the customization. Then part of that is you got to review it every year. So usually I put it inside teams, send it out for training, then record it, because usually certain policies you got to talk about it with the C-suite and get them to sign off on. I record that because you got to say you training them and they get to review it. So then I just save that recording as part of my NIST security program part.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
Go
and
ahead,
then
Chris.
also, so I have this part up here. So plainlanguage.gov I think is really great. I want to go through their training, but they have all kinds of resources on there. I think they have templates as well to assist with like policy writing and to make sure that like it all makes sense.
ChatGPT is the king, but go ahead, Chris. I'm just falling in love with
Yeah, but
ChatGPT.
you can't just have ChatGPT learning off of you all the time,
Might as well, man.
What happened? Are you dependent on ChatGPT now? I don't know. I love AI, but at the same time, like, I don't know. It's become really integrated into a lot of things now. Everything has AI built in.
Oh, facts. So what's your problem with it, Chris? I see you don't seem happy with it. What's going on, man, with you and AI?
Let me
think
see
it's
if I can
taking
find
over?
it.
What's going on with you? We supposed to be using AI, man. You're supposed to use all your tools to their capability. So why am I struggling writing the base policy when I just say ChatGPT? I need a NIST 800-53. I need an incident response. I'm doing IRS work.
So
go ahead, ChatGPT, give me something.
So the issue that I have with it so far is, at least in my experience thus far, is people become too reliant on it. So people are becoming too reliant on AI, and they just copy and paste it in and out. Like I have my own family that I introduced to AI and so forth, which it's a great tool, but that's the thing is it's a tool, but you can see it already where it's changing news articles and LinkedIn posts and Facebook and so forth.
Yeah, I think that's the good and bad part about it. For me, I think we talked about script kiddies and hacking, right? They're a lot better because now they got ransomware and malware because they're using the tools to make them better, right? So I think the other side, blue team and red team, should be using the tools to make your policies better, your procedures better, your security programs better. So we're raising the bar from lower to higher, but you do miss out on some knowledge that you don't have because ChatGPT really has that knowledge, right? You just hitting a button, right?
Yeah, and I guess it really comes down to on how it's actually utilized, because like it's a tool, and it like Google. I watched a webinar about how Google is utilizing AI actively in their environment for defensive measures. Like it's automatically taking, blocking people and taking different measures, which is really fascinating.
Yeah.
things like that, or for red blue team, yeah, of course. So that makes a lot more sense. But like on the social level, I've noticed more and more where it's just like on my phone, on the Android messaging app, they have AI built in now. They're adding Gemini into the Google apps.
Yeah.
And so now I could type out a message and just click, rewrite, and then it'll auto send the message.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, there's pros and cons to everything. And I mean, I think that's just one of the downsides. I think AI overall is a really good future, and that's what's really going to push us even further than we've made it already.
Terminator. I just see Terminator, man. That's all.
Yeah.
I just see
I mean,
Terminator.
hopefully not in my lifetime. Like, but based on so there was also an article I read regarding there was I forget what it's called, but there's a marketplace for benchmarks for AI. And there was recently a benchmark of like 15 trillion or something like that for context, or for the learning library. And so I think ChatGPT 4 is right around 1 trillion on the benchmark. And then this other one that randomly did it was like way higher. And they believe that that's the next generation, the demos for OpenAI's next batch. So find it kind of interesting, but it's definitely picking up. But there's definitely pros
did
and
you
cons
see
to it.
NIST writing their AI? They're writing their AI for, I think, MITRE to help block, like you said, those attacks. So they developing a supercomputer and a chip. So I'm gonna show the guy that ended up blowing himself up because he created a chip that created a Terminator. So that's what I thought when I saw that. So I would put those two together. Oh yeah. So that's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I think that would be pretty good. So let me grab PBO's link here. So
which link are we
somebody
talking
in
about?
chat was wondering about your CMMC or otherwise. I think it was the CMMC part.
Yeah, I gotta upgrade it though. Like you said, I gotta get it to the new too, because I'm gonna go do the 800 IRS and the CMC over, like you said, for the new one. Those are a couple years old, so I gotta, like you said, get them up to that newer level. But yeah, I like my CMC because like Caesar said, it's 171. I think it's like 15 extra controls in there off of 171. I'm still a little upset. I think they still should be using 800-53 and Stigs, but I'm old. I think they're taking a step back, but that's
well, so some of it actually does relate over to the 53. So during the training that I took, it mapped it out a lot more, but it does coincide with some of the stuff from 53 technically.
Because it's NIST. So but I'm like, they seem for me to cut out a lot of stuff. So I'm like, how you cutting out all this stuff and we more secure? So I don't know. I need to dig into that.
Well, and so that's the thing, is that it's the minimum baselines. And so the downside is that, the concerning thing is that companies are going to be like, oh, okay, we have to do this. Okay, so that's all we're going to do. That's 100%. What I hope isn't the case. But I mean,
that's going to be the case, man. We always try to go the easiest way out. That's why I'm trying to figure out why we don't stay on 800-53. But
yeah, and so like I was talking to somebody about it recently, and I mean, definitely correct me if I'm wrong, but so I mean, it's all an expense on the business, the compliance and regulations and all of that is all an expense, but it saves money, based on the risk that's involved, the monetary loss, that potential or otherwise, and that's why companies don't go overboard on it. They hire people on to just, make sure, have that balance of, oh, okay, we're going to save this much money if we spend this much money.
Yeah,
but, it's a balancing act.
Yeah, a lot of people ask me because a lot of it's just paperwork, man. That's a lot of things too. A lot of times is when you do 800-53, okay, a lot of it's paperwork and you ain't really harding anything. You just generating a whole bunch of paper. So that's kind of the I guess the negative part of that too.
Yeah.
Because the system security plan for 800 or even CMC is probably going to be 1,000 pages minimum.
Yeah. I mean, at first I was going to say no, but if you add it all together, it's already over that.
Yeah, because the amount of documentation you got to put in the SSP. I mean, because when you look at all the
So-
security families, it's just a lot.
Yeah, because I mean that's the key thing is that I mean, yeah, you're gonna have everything in there. So that's what's gonna really make it add up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm really curious where it actually ends up. What I was gonna drop this link too. I don't think I dropped this, but so this is the banking regulations that I was reading through. I'm saving this one too because I want to go through this, but it has, I don't know, 15 different regulations relating to banking.
Yeah,
And
like I
I
said,
find that kind of interesting. I already
Yeah.
learned a couple things just on this.
yeah, like you said, the know your customer. I forgot about that, but like I said, a Graham Leach for us, credit monitoring was the big ones we were looking at.
Yeah, and so yeah, final public draft was out, and so comments due by January 24. So, yeah, I mean, it shouldn't be too much longer. Hopefully, maybe.
They
I
always say
did see that it was going to be pretty soon.
They always say that, and they keep getting pushed back, pushed back. Somebody finds something that they really don't like, and it'll be great. Then academia get in there and start slicing it up.
Yeah, I think there was. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was going to share this again. So this Control Explorer that's on grcacademy.io. So that's the CMMC course that I've talked about numerous times. So
is it 250? It wasn't bad. Is it 250-ish?
yeah, I think it's 250, but also one of the benefits is he is moving over to a subscription model, which I think is beneficial because then you could pay, you know, the $20 or whatever it is.
Chris, I have a question.
What?
Basically me knowing a little more with the CMC, do you still think it's worth it paying the $250 to get this certification or certificate when you need to get the other ones, I guess, through CyberAB?
So the benefit is the fact that yes and no. So the reason that I took it is because A, it saves you a lot of time. You can learn the exact same thing that you learn in that $250 course as you would going through the documents yourself and researching the documentation yourself. It saves you time. Instead of spending 6 or 7 weeks studying it, he condenses it all down to a few hours for all the key information. And that's what it really is that course is just the key information, high level view. I would probably say just a little bit more in depth than just a high level in a few spots, which is beneficial. But if you're going to be a consultant, you are not required to go through CyberAB.
Yeah, because
The
it's a level
only time
one.
that you have, whether it's level 1, 2, or 3, you don't have to go through CyberAB. If you're just consulting to prepare a company for a CMMC assessment, you do not have to be accredited. So the only time that you have to be accredited is if you're going to actually put your name on that paper that gets submitted to the DoD
Correct. That's
for
an audit.
certification.
Yeah, and
Gotcha.
the company I work for, that's what they did. For FedRAMP, they did the initial one to get the company ready
Yeah.
to go to a 3PLs, because 3PLs seriously be like $400 an hour. So this
Yeah.
guy was
Yeah.
just charging them $100 an hour. He was cheap. So
Yeah, that's the third party. That's eventually what I want to end up at.
get the 3PL.
Yeah,
So,
with a third party.
yeah. I might
Yeah,
look.
and so if you go with C3PAO, you would have to go off and get accredited. But also what I've seen is that most of them will supply that for you because it's a business necessity. So it doesn't hurt to get something beforehand. Like you can get something like the RP, which is like just the registered practitioner, and then they'll hopefully provide you the CCP. But that's if you're going to go that route. Whereas like I've seen more people go out and more companies being consultants for it, preparing companies for it, and then the companies go off and hire one of the big four or something like that to come in and finish it out. So
Yeah.
but it all depends.
Well, hopefully, like you said, I call them the
So
pre-audit guys. Hopefully gets all that paperwork tight. So when the 3PL looks at it, they won't have to look at it for a long time because you got all the artifacts, you got all the encryption, you got all the documentation, instant response, SSP.
well, that's why they do it.
Yeah. So when the 3PL, come through, they should be in and out in a week or two instead of, charging you for 5 months or something crazy.
So Why do you want to go with this C3PAO in particular, Caesar?
It's third party, man. Third party.
The money.
No, no, nah,
But what do you mean by
nah.
third party?
Hold on. I'm gonna even go there. Send me the link and I'll show you right now for the CyberAB, please.
Um,
I'm exhausted.
Because basically the route that I want to go in, if you go,
So- well, so my point is the fact, what I was trying to get to is the fact that like, um, uh, you'd be doing the exact same thing as a consultant. The only difference is you wouldn't, your name wouldn't be on that paperwork going to the, the DoD.
that is true, but I mean, I don't want to agree with PBO, but I want to agree with PBO. Basically,
What part? I was
The-
going to leave real quick. What part you don't agree? You
I
agree
mean,
with me?
I agree and I don't disagree because I don't want to go that route, but basically the money too. I mean, if you're credited by that, your name goes in the paperwork and you charge more money.
Oh, you're killing the game. And they could charge money, you're going to get more money, right?
Well, yeah, and so that's the key thing is that the reason that they charge more is because they have more overhead.
That is false.
So
That is false. Why do you think they have more overhead?
what do you mean?
What do you mean by overhead?
You don't think that they have more overhead by having more employees and being larger and benefits and higher pay and
Yeah, but I think that's for me, if you're a small company, you still got to pay people, you still got benefits. Now you're not charging as much as 3PAO, right? So for me, at a certain level, is it just greed because you got the certification and you can charge more? Because if you're a mid-size, you got people. The only reason they're that big because they got government work, right? So I don't know. So
yeah, and that's a great point, Rhonda.
what did Rhonda say?
So
She
yes,
went military.
so if you Rhonda just mentioned that let me read it out loud here. So yeah, but aren't you liable as well? So yes, actually if you are a C3PAO or if you're a CCP, CCA and so forth, if you are doing actual assessments and your name goes on that paperwork, you are liable. And so if you go through the actual assessment guide for CMMC, you'll typically have a CCA who's in charge of the assessment, and you might have the CCP or an RPA actually doing the assessment portion or otherwise. And what it all comes down to is that CCA. So a CCA, its part is supposed to be like the lead for the audit, and that's the person who stamps their name on everything. But everybody else is also kind of like in a chain on it as well. So yeah, I mean, if something comes back later on, that I think that's with every assessment though.
Yeah.
I
mean, I don't think. I mean, if you're doing, but all the 3POs, they're the same companies that do the IRS. It's Booz, Coal Fire. They are the same companies. I mean, two is I'm sure they got paperwork where they're, because if it's a 0 day, they're not going to sue you if it's a 0 day, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, so liable for me is kind of, it's
Yeah,
correct, but it's
well, I think it would be an interesting topic to cover in more depth, actually, because that's also where, like, we've talked about it a little bit in the past, like as far as like errors and omissions.
yeah.
Like I did do a little bit of research on it, and the majority of what I found is like you had to have like actual negligence to actually be pursued. Like that's typically when you have an issue as an auditor, is when they could prove in a court of law that like you purposely went out of your way, or like you knew what you were doing could have resulted in some type of impact and still did it.
I actually asked an FBI agent that, and I think I've told you this story is, if you're a regular practitioner like me, the odds of me getting sued is small. You're gonna sue the CEO first, the CIO, the CISO, the director, the compliance director, before they even get close to you. So when I asked him that, he said, as a practitioner, as long as you're not in the C-suite, if because you're acting on their behalf and they gave you authority to do the work you do. So they're responsible for your work, right? Long story short, I do have an umbrella policy in case I messed up of 2 million, just in case, but the odds of a regular practitioner getting sued is super rare because they got to sign off on your work, right? So
Yeah. Did anybody else have any particular topics? That last part that I was mentioning here is just the Control Explorer. So GRC Academy, he keeps this Control Explorer for CMMC updated really, really well. Like he's already gone through and updated it to the you know, what the drafts that are out right now.
did you like the class when you took it?
I love the class. I really, honestly, I think it's really worth it.
Hold on.
So-
Chris, I'm interrupting you. Chris very rarely show love to vendors that charge. I just want everybody to know that. When Chris say he's spending his money, hey, that's rare. I'm just going to give him a shout out. So if Chris is signing off, because brother Chris is frugal now. He don't be spending money on like that. So I want everybody to know if Chris co-sign, I'm gonna take it now because Chris said it was good. Go ahead, Chris. I'm just throwing that out there.
Hey.
I
And
didn't
it's
pay
just
for
like that good.
You military, Rhonda. You don't count. You military, Rhonda.
I count.
You got shot at, Rhonda. I ain't trying to get shot at to get a free class. I'm from the hood. I've been shot at. I ain't trying to get shot at to get a free class.
I didn't get shot at. I was on a ship.
Okay. That's my father was
That's
in the
worse.
Navy. He was a cook, so that's funny.
It was pretty bad.
But nah. Well, long story short, I'll hang out with 4 or 5 dudes that in the military. Like she said, they got nice benefits. What was it?
No hate.
But yeah, Vet Tech, I think they said is real good. So I always give a shout out. And I post a lot of big veteran stuff on my
Act Now's really good too.
Yeah. So now she right. If you've been in the military, take advantage of it. So
I do.
yeah.
Yeah.
Paying for anything unless
Yeah.
I have.
Yeah, their stuff is really, really great. And yeah, I mean, if you're going to be working in the CMMC domain, I mean, I think that the course is really, really good. And he came out with another one as well. So I think that's what is up here on the top.
The one that he
So
came
there's
out,
the
I think, is
overview.
with awareness. I think it's the one that he has. Yeah, there we go. Training awareness.
Yeah, so he has awareness training, which is $100 cheaper. But then also he was implementing some type of like subscription or something like that. I don't know if he's already done that or not, but if you are a veteran, then I mean, I would take him up on that offer too. So
Like I said, I don't know if he's still doing that. It was a little bit ago.
yeah, if it's an option. But yeah, I mean, it's only 3.5 hours in length, but I mean, it is deep. Like he goes through a lot.
I'm joking. That's just one
Do
video
what?
for me. I'm just joking. That's one video for me.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think it would be kind of interesting, to be honest, to get your take on it, because I think he's going to loop around you a few times in the course, because I had to go back through, like, it's so condensed. He's knocked it down so close to what you need to know that, like, it's just jam-packed full of information, and I had to go back through entire modules. Just because it's just all information. It's like a giant cheat sheet for 3.5 hours.
And he's what, a CCP? He's a practitioner?
So yeah, he just got that. I think he might have actually upgraded. But when he made the course, he actually didn't have it yet. But yeah, he runs a program for CMMC, so he has to ensure compliance with it, which is one reason why he's so on top of it.
Okay.
I bookmarked every link he mentioned when I went through it.
Hey guys, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna have to leave early today. I just got some stuff that I need to do. But like always,
Yeah, you're good.
it's a pleasure to see you guys. You guys have a great one.
Reach out if you need anything.
Yep, see you later.
Yes,
Good
sir.
night.
Anything from me.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
Later, man.
He's gonna leave us for Splunk training.
Get out of here. Yeah.
I'm
I'll see you
some
later.
Splunk videos. Let me know if you want to get into Splunk, Caesar.
It's just I want to get as much as information as I can, like the basic. I'm actually
good.
taking a free boot camp, and is giving me the basics for beginners. So I want to
For
take
Splunk?
advantage
Keep
of it. Yeah,
grinding.
for Splunk. Yeah.
That's cool. Splunk's a good thing. When I got interviewed, they were asking me Splunk questions I couldn't answer, so I need to get on my Splunk a little more myself.
Yeah,
As,
keep on learning.
yes, sir. You
Yeah,
guys
I'll
have
see
a
you
good
later.
one. Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean he shares all kinds of different links and information in here. I mean it's gonna take you more than 3.5 hours, PBO.
Nah,
So
cool. There's so much out there, man. Like I said, depending on what you want to do. Like
yeah.
I said, I might like be like Caesar and try to get some of that 3PAO money.
Let's see here.
I know somebody's got to.
Facts.
Yeah,
Facts.
somebody's got to do it. But yeah, we covered quite a bit there. What do you guys think about the length of the weekly meeting? So it seems like on average we average between 2 to 2 hours and 25 minutes on average. Do we need to start cutting that down, or are we going to start trying to double PBO's 2 hours?
I think it was all relevant.
Yeah, I think it was it. I think it's a good time, but I'm like Caesar, I'm running out of gas. So,
Yeah. I like to just play it by ear. So that's why I just kind of leave it open, is that, you know, sometimes it's going to be an hour, sometimes it's going to be 2 hours. Like it just kind of varies.
I would just let
So,
it be what it's gonna be, man.
well, exactly. So,
Let it be what it's gonna be.
but yeah, if anybody else has any other topics to share or otherwise,
I mean, I agree with
I'm
everybody
definitely,
else. Like, I know I skipped dinner just to be here, so I gotta head out and eat something. But maybe I can leave something here for next week. Have you guys ever heard of fair controls? Because I had someone reach out to me today in reference to that.
I've heard of them, but I haven't dug into them. Is that
Yeah,
more banking
so
stuff? More banking stuff?
yeah, Gerald actually has a video on that.
oh, okay.
I might
Yeah,
gotta
let me see if
I can't let Gerald out video me, man. I'm gonna have to get mine out now. I'm just playing. I'm just
Look for
playing.
everything, don't he?
No,
Yeah, so he had mentioned it before because he helped implement, he talks about it in one of his videos from like a year ago about the fair controls, because he implemented that along with CIS or something like that, and he was talking about that. I'll see if I can find the video again, because I don't think he actually put fair in the title for it.
Yeah, because I heard it's like controls between, it's like communication between the cybersecurity team and the executives.
Mhm.
So it's like doing a synergy between all of that.
I seen it when I was studying for my CISP. Now you bring that up, bro. I've been
Okay.
studying for that. So they go over every compliance on the man on it.
Let me see here. Yeah, so I was just checking where I don't even see the search for this website. So one of the people that I do follow as well, he's in this Simply Cyber Discord as well. So CPA to cybersecurity. So Michael, um, he might know about it too. So I was looking, oh, here, search right there. So fair. No, I don't think he does have anything on it yet. He's just now getting his channel together. But so he has the CPA background, and I think he talked about it too.
I watch a few of his videos. I like it. It's very concise, direct, easy to follow.
Yeah. I mean, so far I've really liked it. So he's still trying to put everything together right now, it looks like. But yeah, the content that he has on YouTube is really, really good. His newsletters are very thorough. That's probably my only complaint about the newsletters, is just the fact that like there's so much information that he puts in them. But I mean, it's absolutely great information. And he has several different ones on his YouTube channel that are just very concise. I follow him. I get notifications for him. I think it's a great one to follow.
So I got to drop.
But
I'll talk to y'all later. Ping me if y'all need me.
yeah, I'll talk to you later. But you might want, I mean, I would probably reach out to him if you have him on Discord there. I can send you his tag on there. and see what he says. So, because I'm pretty sure he's come across it too.
What's his name?
Michael, let me
Steve McMichael.
pull. Yeah. Steve McMichael, that's what it is. So I can go ahead and yeah, so he's in the Simply Cyber Discord, and then if you go to the GRC Team Life, he's the second one up, right above my last message.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I'll go ahead and drop his YouTube channel. So I'm pulling that up right now. I've watched quite a bit of his content actually. The only one that I haven't really gone through very much is he has an entire playlist about Fabric AI, which is kind of interesting, but you know, it's just not something that I really got into yet. But like he has one in here that's like how to get into how to break into GRC. It's a 3-part series that's really good, and then he's also done a few really nice interviews.
I gotta check out more of his videos then.
Yeah, I'm trying to think which one. Oh yeah, why is GRC underrated? That's a really good series. Yeah, I think those are pretty good ones too. Everything he's put out so far that I've seen is very well done, like very well planned. You could tell he definitely puts time into it. It's the same thing with the content on his website. You know, it's very thorough, which is, I'm assuming, definitely the CPA background. That probably helps. All right, so I went ahead and dropped that in chat as well. And then, yeah, I'll do more research on it too. I did find a couple things on there, and then I'll let you know if I find that video. But I think that's a pretty good topic as well.
Yeah, because it's interesting. It's something, instead of just going through different frameworks or things like that, this is something that's kind of like an overview for it and how to communicate all of that or present it to the executives. So
Yeah,
gives you a different
I
perspective.
think, yeah, I think that's really great. Yeah, because it's what it looks like the 53, the CIS, the 27K, and the high trust.
Mhm.
That's weird. Yeah, that would probably be pretty good to know. All right, well, I guess we'll go ahead and end it here. So let's see. Thank you very much for joining. And then also, like I said, I'll get that other information out to you, Robert, when I come across it. And we could talk more about it next week as well. And then next week, let's see. So the 15th. So 7 days from now, of course. The 15th is the next one. And I will see you guys all next